let's have a recap on the comic book creator session. So hopefully you've managed to get hold of the Canva link and you've created your own account, and it will take you to something that looks like this inside the Canva app. So we want to create a new document today. We're going to create a comic book strip, a comic strip in this session here. So down the left hand side, we've got a few options. It says home, projects, templates. Let's go to templates first. And Canva has templates for all sorts of different things, but we want to learn a little bit about how to use Canva today as well. So at the top of the screen, we've got an option that says search thousands of templates. So let's tap in there and let's put comic strip. Don't go for comic book, they're slightly different in Canva, but let's go for comic strip. And it will take us to all these templates. Now, these are things you can play with after this session. There's some pre-made templates there for us. There's some with some superheroes already on there. Play with those later today if you want to. But we want to do a little bit of a new one, so you learn how to build these from scratch and you can play around with them. So that first option is a good one for us. Create a blank comic strip. So let's tap on there. And it takes us over to a blank document ready for us to start here with our template. So let's go to elements down the left hand side, and this is where we can get all those individual parts of a comic book and start building our own comic. Now for this session, we want you to put something exciting about your summer holidays into a comic strip. So that might have been a trip to the seaside. I think that's what I'm going to do today. It might be a new Lego kit, it might be a new toy, it might be a new pet, it might be going to the park. Something that you've done that you can tell us a little bit about your day, and we'll format that as a comic strip. So in Elements, once you've decided what you're going to do, we're going to put a background in first. So search Elements, I'm going to type in there comic strip background, and it gives us all these different options that we can look at here. So I've got some great photo backgrounds here. Don't use the video ones for now, that's for another day for us to have a look at, but let's pick one of these. These are all good backgrounds, so you can choose your color. In fact, you can change your color afterwards. I think I'm going to go for that orange one, and it drops that background into our template there. Now it's not filling the screen at the moment, so we need to just grab hold of this and let's just expand it. You might have to do it using the corners and the little slips there, just so we have covered the entire background. But that's looking pretty good. And if you do want to change the colour, you've got your colour options up there. Mine's like red and, well, sort of an orange and a lighter orange, isn't it, really? But you can change those colour combinations if you want to experiment with those and make this a little bit more unique for yourself. So once we've got the background, we can start thinking about what we're going to put in there. Now, I think I probably want to put a title in next. So over on the left hand side, we've been using elements so far. Let's go to text. And again, in the search options, let's search for comic, and we should hopefully find some nice comic style fonts. Look at these. We've got a couple here. Let's Party or New Drop. So choose which one you want. I'm going to go for Let's Party. Now, that's not what I want mine to say. Now, just be aware, some of these, that is 2 lines of text, so we need to edit the lines separately in Canva. If we edit it all in one go, it becomes one long line. So I'm going to tap on that first word, tap once, and then tap it for a second time. And I'm going to put day out, and then I'm going to tap on the second line. Tap once to select it, tap again to edit, to Whitby. That's where I went, to the seaside. And oh, I've managed to delete that, so let's put that back in there. There we go. Now it's a little bit big, so make sure we've selected it. You can always pinch so you can see those corners there, and you can decide how you want to format this. If you want to rotate it round, you've got these buttons here to swing it about. I think I quite like it on a little bit of an angle up there, something like that. So you can move this around to format your first page of your comic book. So give your comic a good title. You might come up with something nice and exciting or something quite funny. That's completely up to you. And then we can start putting some of our comic elements in there. So we need to make sure we've got some photos. So wherever you've been or whatever you've done, make sure you have used the camera and you've taken lots of photos of what you've been doing. If you haven't got photos handy, you can always jump into your web browser and do a Google image search, and you can save some images that we can use for this comic strip, and just use some of those off the internet. But hopefully you've got your own original photos and they're on your camera roll on your device. And we're going to use some of those to put in there. So we know how to put elements in. So let's go back to elements, and I'm going to look for comic strip. Let's look for a frame this time, shall we? And see what we get here. So look, we've got these nice graphics here. Have we got anything interesting popping up? We've got some good ones there. You might want to put for comic. Let's just try comic frame. See what we find there. Now, we get lots of interesting shapes. They're great, they look nice, but they're hard to fill with photos. So I would suggest we find some of the more standard ones that we're looking at here. So we've got lots of good ones here that we can use as we go in. Have we got anything further down? We've got all these. Let's put one of these in. And we can move these around, and you can resize these and make them whatever size you want to put in there. You can rotate it as well using that same button we had there before. Now we've got that picture, that frame there, we want to start adding other things to it. So let's go to our camera roll on the left hand side and pick one of your pictures. So when I was there, we went and had a look at the town. So we went down lots of steps, and let's add that picture to the page. And now we want to move these around. Now it is going to be a little bit fiddly. If you've used one of the templates that has a little image at the background, that little cloud, it will put your photograph straight into that template for you. If you haven't, and it's just a normal frame picture, you might have to line things up. But we've got the beginnings of our comic book starting to appear here. So on this first one, I think I'm just going to put it something like this. And then I'm going to add some more. Let's go back to our elements. So these are the frames. Go for one of the frame options that has that cloud on and that little kind of that hill there, because that's ones where we can put our pictures into the frame instead of having to layer things over the top. So let's go for one of these. Let's go for, in fact that one has got an interesting shape to it. Let's go for that one. So we'll put that one in there, and then I'll go back to my camera roll, and let's see if I've got another picture there. Let's put where we went underneath the pier, and let's select the photo, and we're going to add that to the page, and we're going to put that in there. All I have to do is drag it over, look, and it puts it into the frame for me. So we can start designing where we want this to go. So I think I'm going to put that one up here. I'll put this one down there, and then I want one more, I think, just to fill this page. And we can add a page 2, and we can add other things to this. So let's go back to our elements, and we've still got the frames there. So comic book border is the search I did, and look under that frames category. We got a there. I think I'm going to go for that one. And it kind of fills that gap nicely for us there, doesn't it? It's got little flowers around it. And then I'll go back to my camera roll and see if there's a picture that'll fit in there. I think we'll put Captain Cook in there. Let's put him in. And if it doesn't quite fit, we can just double tap it. Look, you see there? Now if I double tap it, I can change the masking. So I'm going to just drag it across so I get the right bit of the picture in the frame. So once you put the picture in, you hover the picture over the frame, it fills the frame, double tap it, and we get the option to change that framing as well. So it's starting to look quite good as we're going anyway. Now, I want to know a bit more about this. So let's go back to our elements. And did we have some of those on this same search? We didn't. Let's go back to our comic. Let's go for comic speech. Oh. And we find these nice little graphics where we can put some kind of comic kind of smashes, those booms, or we can put some speech bubbles in there. So I'm going to put this one in, I think. Look at that. So you can put this anywhere you like. I'm going to put it down here, I think, for now. And you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can do whatever you like. Sometimes it's useful to zoom in so you can see things. But then I'm going to go back to my text option. And I want to add some more text. I'm going to put some text in here. I'm going to go for that one that says new drop. Now, this is huge. So let's just make it a bit smaller. and remember under, and then a second line on this one, select it and then tap it again, the pier, and then just tap off, and let's resize that and let's put that right in there. Might have to use that just so things line up, but it's a bit fiddly. Maybe it's still a little bit, no, it's just about right, isn't it? Just about fits in. Maybe make the background a bit bigger. So you've got to fiddle around with it, but this can start to look quite good quite quickly. So what I want you to do is put some of these nice photos in here, put a nice title on, but use these boxes now to start adding bits of information telling me what you did, where you were going, what your new toy was, what your new pet's called, or whatever it is that your comic book is about. Keep adding these elements to show us what you've been doing. Now you can spend a lot of time designing it, you can change the colours, you can change the fonts, you can do all sorts of things, but hopefully that's been a little bit of a recap on how to use Canva. Now when you have finished this though, I do need you to save this for me so that I can see what you've been doing. And up in the top right hand corner is a share button. And once we've shared it, we want to select the option to download. And there we go, it's asking us lots of complicated things about sizes and formats. We don't need to worry about that. Let's just press download and it's saving that file onto your device. And there we go, on an iPad it pops up. I'm hoping it does the same on an Android as well. And we've got the option there to save the image, and that will go straight to our camera roll. And you can use Shobi now to send that to us. So in Shobi, just log in, upload your file, and we can see what you've been doing.